What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back. And by now, you guys have probably heard about the Kawhi Leonard and Clippers situation that's going on. If you have not, let me give you a brief download on what is happening. But apparently, the Clippers are being accused of circumventing the NBA salary cap rules. And this is because there was apparently a now defunct company known as Aspiration that was, about, I guess, green energy or green banking. They plant trees. I don't know. Some about, preserving the environment, right? And that company, like I said, is now bankrupt. Steve Ballmer, who was the owner of the Clippers, actually held a $50 million investment in that company until he then, realized that he was being defrauded. So that's a whole nother story. But Kawhi Leonard was paid a $28 million endorsement deal, or given a $28 million endorsement deal, I should say, in which, apparently this is in the court documents, and according to, Pablo Torre on his podcast, that the deal literally required Kawhi to do nothing. He just got paid $28 million for being associated with the company, right? And I don't know what the deal is, right? Like, it seems a little unlikely that Steve Ballmer just got defrauded out of $50 million. Like, the guy's a very intelligent and smart businessman, but again, $50 million to someone who's worth $150 billion probably isn't that much money. He's probably not that worried. But it all just seems a little odd, right? And the only reason why this seems a little odd to me is just because, I don't know if you guys remember, but back when Kawhi Leonard was signing with the Clippers, way back when, there was, mentions of his uncle, I think his name's like Dennis or something, wanting like extra benefits, right? Like he wanted, guaranteed endorsements. He wanted, the ability to use like a private jet, have a nice house to stay in LA. Like he wanted all these extra things from the Clippers, in addition to, Kawhi getting, his money, right? And Kawhi obviously deserved the money. He's a fantastic player. He's just not available all that much, He's played he's missed, I think, like 45% of all the regular season games he's ever been eligible to play in. So that just says it right there. But so with that said, and Stephen A put it pretty, in a pretty funny way, that he said he doesn't think if this was happening to LeBron James or Steph Curry, no one would even bat an eye, because getting paid that much money and having no responsibility is not something that aligns with those two players. Whereas, for Kawhi, Stephen A was basically saying, this is exactly what Kawhi Leonard is. He is a guy that gets paid a lot of money, and we know him for not wanting to show up to work, right? And I don't necessarily believe that's true. I think Kawhi is pretty quiet, so I don't really know if that's the case or not, or if we're just, guessing at this point. But, it's just funny how Stephen A said it. So I do think is there a possibility that something went on here? I mean, like a $28 million endorsement deal, seems a little crazy for not doing anything, not appearing in any sort of ads, not marketing it, not, doing promo on social media, like nothing, right? Like, what is the point of paying someone that much money, right? So it really does, kind of make sense if the way that the story is being presented right now actually turned out that way. Again, I don't know if it's true or not. These are just allegations, but the situation is a little dicey, right? And there's some serious repercussions. I mean, Kawhi Leonard could get suspended if he knew what was going on. Any other team personnel that was involved could get suspended for a lengthy period of time. You can lose draft picks. I think the last time this happened was in the early 2000s, or in the late 90s with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They lost 5 draft picks, first round picks at that. They got fined a couple $1 million. There was a lot of stuff that went down, right? So the NBA takes this stuff pretty seriously. The salary cap rules are in place because they want the league to be somewhat of an even playing field, right, to an extent. But I mean, we're gonna find out what happened, right? One way or another. I think the NBA, if they haven't already, they are starting their investigation into the Clippers organization to find out what's going on. Again, this company aspiration is now bankrupt, and they were conning people, as Steve Ballmer said. So I don't really know what to believe. I don't really know what's going on here. I think, as we get more evidence, it'll be interesting to find out what's going on. But I mean, the Clippers have had a pretty decent offseason. I don't think they're going to, do anything too special, but to get Bradley Beal, to get Chris Paul, like, they have a decent roster. They also picked up John Collins in that Norman Powell trade. So there's a lot to look forward to here. I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting Kawhi Leonard to play that many games anyway, because that's just what we've grown to, expect from him. Similar with like Zion Williamson, we just don't expect him to play anymore. So I don't really know if they're going to have a successful season, but this certainly adds some drama to what's going on with the Clippers. But it's a very odd story, man. But I do encourage you guys to go check out what Stephen A. Smith said about this whole situation, because it was just pretty funny. Talking about how, $28 million, don't have to do anything, sign me up. Like, like in the mind of Kawhi Leonard, that's what, he's picturing. So just funny stuff, foolish stuff. But that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you think about this situation in the comments down below. Do you think this is what's actually going on? Do you think there's something fishy going on here? Do you think it was all just a big mistake? Want to know your thoughts. So leave some comments down below. I'm check you guys later, man. Stay up, stay blessed, stay safe, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.